Okay. Once again, good morning. Ah, you want my opinion on the state of the Nigerian state? Not nation as you really ask. Nigeria is not a nation; it's a country. I mean, the real sense of understanding what a nation is. You have many nations in the society put together into a country. In fact, which Awolowo, one of the founding fathers of this country, described as a mere geographical expression. Yeah, because one, there was not even any consensus as to whether the the nations that were put together by John Lugard and Christine by his mistress, who later became her, I mean, was a reporter, who later became her mistress, Flora Shaw. In any nation, there must be, I mean, they must be bound by language, culture, and they must have a sense of belonging to one another. I mean, the Yorubas, no matter how much they quarrel or the sophistication of their societies, they believe that they are a common people emanating from one source. Myth or no myth, the myth of Oduduwa and the myth of creation is generally accepted among the Yorubas. Yeah, there are different dialects, but the language is common, and they actually believe among themselves that they are the same. And I'm sure the same thing with the Igbos. They could trace their origin from the same source. And I also know the Fulanis, no matter where they come from, I mean, coming from the Upper Nile, and the Hausas who had their own society before the invasion of Ottoman Manafodio, the guys of spreading the jihad. No, Borno was already an Islamic state, so the the talk of spreading the jihad could not have been the reason. It was purely economic. And economic, and a part of Hausa's society actually sided them because they wanted to free themselves from the oligarchs that was also ruling. That's the nature of revolution. Anyway, so to that extent, Nigeria cannot be called a nation. It's a Well, Nigerian state has been created by a constitution, but we all agree it's a country. Now, if you want to know the state of the Nigerian state or the country called Nigeria, I must confess, I mean, this has been something I've been ruminating on for quite a long time since I came into political consciousness of why are we like this? Why are we like this? Most especially after the 1979 elections, and it came into serious contention for me after the annulment of the 1993 general elections, which was recently annulled. Nobody cared to explain to anybody. Somebody just read the press secretary to Babangida. What's his name now? It's now late. And this is Jebu Ulub Onabule simply read to Ross that just released his press statement that the election was annulled, election that was deemed free and fair. Not even presumably won. No, it was clearly won by MK Abiola. There's no doubt about that. But I never really got to take a serious interest in the state of the Nigerian state until after I read Kameya's reflection. I mean, damning reflections on Nigeria in his work. This house has fallen. Christ, I think the book was published in 2021, but I didn't get to read it until 20. No, it was published in 20, 2001, but I didn't get to read it until 2002. This house has fallen. Nigeria in crisis. Before then, let us get it right. No author has really, or anybody has really talked about the Nigerian being a failed state. You could hear of it's a failing state. I would list all things that are until what constitute a failing state without anybody actually putting his finger on the fact that this country has failed. This country has really failed. We saw you hear of so many things in the insecurity, especially where a group of bandits simply invaded society and keep killing people and displacing them and putting a signboard of renaming. In fact, in some places they collect taxes. Of course, it was Boko Haram we had before. Even before Boko Haram, a state simply, in a republic, simply declared the Sharia state. And yeah, we had a Nigerian president who swore to protect the so-called federal constitution, Republican constitution that we had. Nobody did anything about that. I think people were not too confident to make such pronouncement as Nigeria is a failed state because they found it sacrilegious, or out of our unrelieved optimism that okay, we should keep moving, things will be okay, our manifest destiny will be realized. Nigeria has abundant human and material resources, that all what we really need is leadership. That again has never ceased to amuse me. So what we need to do is to have strong individuals that can really drive the country. It's not about building institutions, because our institutions are quite weak. So, one could ask, strong individuals, that's what we need. What about the system, the structure under which such leaders will have to operate? Because let's get it right, a lot of the impunity and a lot of the corruption still in the public funds that we really talk about, some of them, one, they are greed driven. Some are need propelled. Yes, somebody you pay 30,000 minimum wage in a society of no social housing, no social security for the unemployed, no health insurance, transportation is abysmal, the roads are bad. You paying 30,000 and you wonder how he's surviving. Don't you know, as public servants, he must be dipping his hands in the public till. Do you ever wonder if you go to the lands department of our state secretariat, your files are forever missing until you learn the language to talk to somebody to pull out your file. So that you can pay the appropriate fee and get your land approved. You ever wonder about that? You care what the salary of that guy is taking. We blame our policemen for extortion. You see them in tattered uniform and some are even in canvas. So when they now are put in the sun, in the rain there, nobody cares about their families. I got to learn that if a policeman is transferred from Zamfara to Ogun Ogun State here, you even his colleagues will have to take bribe from him for his files to follow him to Ogun State in order for his salaries to be. So many of them for 6 months. They languish in their offices. Some of them who are Christian or religionists, they have solace in some of the churches who will accommodate them. No, I don't think that the state will not provide for their accommodation while in transit, but somebody there somewhere didn't care whether those guys are reduced to destitute. 6 months, they have to bribe. So you wonder why you are complaining. So how you now want to complain that they meet you on the road in the sun, in the rain? I mean, you wonder why they have to run when if they hear the sound of a superior gun. I mean, if they die, they die. You know, even 3 months later, their wives are already being asked to leave the barracks. So that's the state of the country we have ourselves. But like I said, people do not really want to talk about whether Nigeria is really a failed state. But if you come in contact with Aton Chevok, that is Aton Chevok, the Russian writer playwright, he has this identify items that should be your currency, that should be when you now begin to call a state failed. Yes. according to the Russian writer that Anton, Chekhov, in a failed state, he talked about there are 1,000 fools for each successful brain, and 1,000 clumsy words to counter each good advice. The majority are always jump, ill-informed, egoistic, and constantly dominating the rational and intelligent ones. The third thing I had to identify was they love holding meetings upon meetings, but ensuring that each meeting is turned to throwing banters and cracking jokes to prevent the diligent scrutiny of issues. Well, I'm sure in this country, we open every meeting with prayers. I mean, eating at that. Then we proceed to tell all manner of lies. We proceed to try and see how we can cut corners. We tell lies about figures of the contract before us. We all know that we are deceiving ourselves, and this happens more in politics. And at the end of that such meeting, we depart with handshakes and all ending it in another round of prayers. I don't know of anything we do in this country. In spite of the fact that it's a secular state, we have to pray. But we all know that after that prayers, what we call opening prayers, it's all lies. The fourth thing that the writer, such societies are led by cliques, cabals, and few unserious individuals, while the majority are disenchanted, disgruntled, and disinterested. But of course, the system makes sure that the few ones that will show interest, let's say professional politicians, that think that we don't need to abandon the state for the charlatans that parade themselves. The professionals, politician, would ensure that those professionals who wants to go into politics are crowded out. And before you realize it, they also become part of them. After all, the universities, Adosheni, that is to say, if you wrap a soap with a leaf, after some time now the leaf itself becomes, it will become soap. They are like, in such society, you have those, the ruling clique are like cult, where the gangsters are the majority. The sixth thing that Antin identified is that they thrive on extorting from few amongst them who have overbloated egos and always seeking for public attention and without knowing they are being used. Oh, I must confess, most intellectuals or ideologues that have taken their time to see whether they can intervene and have an internal conversation with the politicians. By saying, "Oh, you don't change the society, you don't change the society from from the outside. You have to go inside and fight it out with them." I can tell you, I'm sure they welcome them with all the mix and ceremony. Oh, we have Professor Lagwaja with us. We have Comrade Medu with them. Oh, that social critic, the human rights activist is now with us. Well, they might give some of them a publicity secretary as part of a recognition, helping to encourage them to help them tell all the lies in the media and manage the tomfoolery. And they think, oh, their ego will now come to fall. They think they are now part of the ruling. No, 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 no. They're just being used. Anytime you try to step out of the boundary of what the system, the cabals, the cliques expect him to be doing, he's out. Meanwhile, they must have messed him up, or he must have messed himself up by to do a few things to him, and he gets to drink champagne with them before he realizes it. He's out in the dump. Such society is called society of pacifiers. In such state, you'll never see any revolutionary talk as pervasive. They tend to term every protest as subversion, seditious. Ordinary, Showore simply gathered a few, I'm sure you could count them, they were more than 50, moving about in their teaching revolution now. Before you realize it, the guy was clamped, arrested, and clamped into jail. They refused to prosecute his case, they just wanted to take him out of circulation. And everybody just went quiet. Among your Showore, the word to then begin to hear and read is that, oh, he supported them. He was part of their foot soldiers against Jonathan. He contested election. Was that an issue? Yes, he supported them. It's democratic right. 2, was Jonathan even the best that could happen to Nigeria? So if some people feel that, they were coming in for a change, yes, any right thinking who thought that Nigeria was not being properly run, should support the newcomers or those who are aspiring to come. Yet he could also be part of those naive individuals, radicals from his secondary school days, who thought that, oh, he could go in and contest with his own group. Of course, he didn't. Everybody who knew what the system was knew that was going to. And after that, he started criticizing them. He didn't support them because, despite the fact that he supported their coming in, and what we could see, not about his right of protest, not about the inhuman treatment, not about even the attempt to arrest him in the court premises when he was granted bail. Then you could be sure nobody needs to tell us that that's a country of pacifiers. Those are the indices of a failed state. I don't know whether I have satisfied your. You go and reflect on those 6 six itemized conditions that must be prevalent in a society before you can call it a failed society, and whether Nigeria approximate all those factors that must be present. All right, thank you.